All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lionbolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration. It really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest, and I might add, a repeat offender, the second time our friend and colleague here, Ryan Serhant, for episode 250. Everybody, Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time. It's an honor and a pleasure to chat with you again, my friend.
Thank you for having me back. I am blown away that I am only the second person to do this solo, and that I'm also here for lucky number 250. So thank you. I'm honored that my month is set.
This is great. Ryan, seriously, I had such a blast, and I know the audience did as well, just really getting to know you and dive deep into what's been going on. But last time you were on Titans, we were just recapping in Green Room. It was episode 136, and that was December 5th, 2019. Right? Yes. Right now, we're talking about February 1st, 2022. And I know a ton has changed. You're dominating the world further into real estate, life, family, growth, everything along those lines. So I just wanted to catch up with you, Ryan, just kind of see what's going on, what's new, what's changed, and just share that knowledge. But for anybody out there who's tuning in, this isn't necessarily anybody who's listening after the fact of the podcast or live with us. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know who Ryan Serhant is and everything that he does, Ryan, would you mind just giving us a quick recap, who you are, where you're from, your story in a nutshell, just for the intro for anyone who does not know you, sir?
Sure. So super fast. My name is Ryan Serhant. I'm 37 years old. I live in New York City. I now run my own real estate firm that I founded in September of 2020 in the middle of the pandemic in New York City. But most people know me as one of the stars of Bravo's $1 Million Listing New York that I've been on for 10 years. Bravo, Sell It Like Serhant, I've written 2 books, Sell It Like Serhant, Big Money Energy, or you follow me on social. We've got a little over 4 million followers between all the different platforms. You watch my YouTube vlog that I've been doing for the last couple of years, or you're a member of one of our courses, the Sell It Like Serhant courses, where we've built a really incredible education platform for just about 18,000 agents in 109 countries.
Wow.
Or I've been lucky enough to do a deal with one of you as we've sold, on average about $1 billion in real estate every year. Last year, we creeped up close to $2 billion for our first year as a business in 2021. So that is who I am. And since I last spoke to you, that was December 5th, 2019. I was at that time, if I looked at my calendar, I'm like having secret meetings with close members of my team, my wife, lawyers, everyone thinking like, okay, 2020 is around the corner, the start of a new decade. This is the year I'm going to start my own company, and I'm going to do things different. No other firm can do what I want to do. No other firm is even willing to do what I want to do. Everyone sucks, so I got to do it by myself. I'll start, July 1st. I'll be turning, how old did I turn that? I'll be turning 36. And that's what I want to do. And then little did I know that people were going to start getting really sick, and then the whole world was going to shut down, especially in New York City. But we stuck to it. I didn't do it July 1st. I waited a couple months because on July 1st, 2020, New York City was literally on fire from riots. So we paused a second, let the heat cool down, and then went live in September, and the rest is now history.
Wow. I mean, Ryan, when you talk about that, there's so much that's been crammed into that short period of time that we haven't spoken last, but again, just laying that groundwork and foundation. And just so you know, I think you covered your intro really well. I did a intro reel or sizzle reel, and there's so much that you left out even in there, Ryan. So all I got to say is just follow Ryan, figure out where this man is all over the internet, and learn from one of the best and brightest minds in the real estate world. I do want to talk about Serhant specifically and what you're doing to shake up and really disrupt and evolve the real estate industry from the highest of levels, Ryan. And I saw a post just the other day, and I would love to share it with the audience as far as what's going on new in the world and with your business, and particularly with Universe. So kind of what is that, and just give everybody a little bit of understanding going forward.
So when I started the business, well, actually, let me go back.
Yeah.
I started thinking about starting my own business in like 2015. And then I forgot about it. kind of started just jotting down notes. Like, if I'm ever going to start my own business, what do I have to do? Like, should I read a book? Maybe, is there I don't have an MBA. What do I do? Like, all the little things. I started interviewing at other firms in 2017, thinking like, maybe I don't do my own business. Like, it's so expensive. Is it really worth it if you're a real estate broker? Interviewed all these other firms. They all sucked. No one was any help to me. I would just be a number for all of them. It's like, all right, well, let me see what I want to do. A couple of years later, I'm definitely doing this. And what I wanted to create was, I had built an entire business of selling real estate and building my brand through content, through $1 Million Listing, through Instagram, through TikTok, through YouTube, through written content. I'm a contributor to Forbes. We write articles for LinkedIn every week. I've written 2 books. We write everywhere. So I generate leads through content that is attached to my brand. I don't buy Zillow ads. I've never bought any leads before. We sell through social. We sell through content in all different ways. I wanted to create the first of its kind content to commerce real estate firm. So in the same way that, like, I don't know, like Barstool Sports, right? If you follow them on Instagram, if you're a sports fan, like, they create content about sports. You then buy their merchandise. You go to their events. They built a huge business that is all around content for customer acquisition. I wanted to do that for our agents, our properties, our developers, our buyers, our sellers. And I wanted to build an environmentally conscious, future forward footprint for a brokerage that would eventually be national, which means I don't want offices everywhere. I don't want to open up offices in all these different places, because I am a real estate agent and I go to broker offices and no one's there. And it's a lot of overhead and it's a lot of upkeep. And I don't believe anymore. And this was like, I'm saying December 5th, 2019 and 2017. It used to be that if you are a real estate broker or salesperson and you are opening up in a neighborhood or a city, you are doing so by opening an office and planting your flag. But the world is different now. And that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Sure.
I have the biggest real estate office in New York City in Soho right now. I'm sitting in it and I only have 1. I don't have to have 10 or 20. I have 1 and that's it. Everyone works out of here and they work from home. They get their own little, WeWorks. They do whatever they want. Doesn't matter. And so how do you create virtual culture, right? How do you create virtual happiness? Can't do it through a website. Like every other firm, other than EXP, right, will open up with a physical store and they're going to open up with a website and say, you are branded us now. You have a door that is painted in our brand. Here's a computer and a desk. Please pay us. And, here's a flag. And it's like, okay, that doesn't work for me anymore. So we have been building for quite some time what we call Serhant Universe, which is our own virtual world, or as everyone calls it today, a metaverse. It's a proprietary platform where our agents will be able to connect internally with team members, sales managers, operate their calendars, get documents, run their entire business, have a virtual desktop, change their clothes, dye their hair, and eventually show property virtually, bring their clients in virtually. Whatever your mind can imagine, I want to make that possible. Not just so that I can expand state by state by state and country by country. That's obviously a big part of it. Sure. But so that I can take the energy and the culture of the firm we've built in New York City and bring that everywhere with me. And I can't do that with a website. I can't even do it with a satellite office. Because then every satellite office of every brokerage all depends on the manager. It's a good manager, cool office. Bad manager, that company is terrible.
Well said.
Yeah. So it's like, it's scary, and I don't want to do that. So that's what we're going to do. We're working through it now. I announced it yesterday because we were finally ready to actually start talking about it.
Yeah.
Feedback has been unique. And what I told my agents, the same way when I started hiring them, and they're like, wait a minute, we're going to generate leads by making videos. I'm like, yeah, trust me, it's going to work. I promise you. I told them that day, the same way I told people yesterday. One of my favorite quotes ever from Henry Ford, where he said, if I had listened to my customers and what they wanted, I would have built a faster horse.
Wow.
And I think about that all the fucking time.
Mm.
Like, I just like, there's, what blows my mind? There are new real estate brokerages opening all the time that are faster horses. They're not even faster. They're actually like slow horses. And I don't even get it. Like, what's the point? Like, why, like, I don't know. If you're not going to disrupt for good, which is one of our values here, then I don't get it. I don't know. Anyway, that's what Universe is. That's what it's going to be. It's gonna be awesome. And I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm excited for our agents that get to work with us, both where we're currently licensed and eventually in every state.
Ryan, and I love that explanation as you dive deeper into that. And I can really see and feel the passion that's coming out of you, distributed based off of really positively disrupting and changing and not looking at it from a one-dimensional sort of standpoint. And as you mentioned that, the metaverse inside, Serhant universe and the expansion and growth and real looking at it from a deep dive into real estate professionals and what their needs are now, but also into the future of the business. And you're not just playing by the same set of rules, you're making your own to really making this a better industry, not just for the professionals, but for the consumers that are designed directly out of it. And as you're saying that and describing it, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if you're familiar with that movie, Ready Player One.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but that in particular, I'm thinking to myself, I could literally be hanging out as a real estate professional with the best and brightest minds in the world, also selling real estate, building relationships. And it's just, there's so much that is untouched, that's untapped, that technology allows. And at the end of the day, it's people business, it's relationships, and you're building that in the digital space. I love it. I absolutely love that explanation, Ryan, for sure.
Well, think about too, like real estate. The real estate brokerage business is not a real estate business. It's a real estate agent business. I look for real estate for buyers and I try to sell it to sellers, but I'm really working with other agents. The real estate agency industry is the biggest and strongest agency industry in the world. Like, other doctors don't need doctors. They need the patients.
Right.
I mean, obviously they want other doctors, but they don't need them to survive. Like, if I'm the only broker, well, great. I guess that's great. But like, it wouldn't work. Right. Like, I need other agents to have relationships with other sellers that I could bring buyers to. I need other agents to work on buyers for 10 years to eventually bring them to that one listing I decided to have that day. Like, you need other agents. And it is a people business. 92% of the people on this planet do not like the way they look or feel. And so by default, obviously, you see, right, that people hide behind their computers for the last 25 years. It is only inevitable that when technology got to a place where it is today, that they can be whoever they want, and obviously people will use it for bad. Like, sure. Not on our platform, because we'll be agents and selling real estate, but like, if you don't like the way you look, if you don't want to go to an office, you don't have to. But if you want to make money and want to sell real estate, you can be whoever you want with us, and you can wear whatever you want anywhere on any device with any client.
Wow.
And I think that's really, really exciting for me.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's exciting for anybody who's involved in the real estate world and hearing that wave that's coming through, Ryan. And I know there's more details to come into that. What's the best way for everybody to go into? I know on your Instagram accounts directly, there's links, but is there going to be a website launch directly, specifically, or a direct page for Serhant Universe?
Yeah, you can go to Serhant Universe, serhant.com/universe right now to sign up for more information. It's universe without the E.
Got it.
Okay. And then in a couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing the first in-world footage so people can see. And then as it opens, we're going to keep it internal, to be honest, like with our agents and staff for a while as we work out kinks and figure things out. But then probably by the end of the year, we'll open it up.
Okay. I'm excited. And Ryan, please let us know, anybody in your office, just send us links, updates. We'd love to share it with the Titan Nation to stay in contact with you and everything that you're doing and changing. Sure. I do want to dive into a couple things, and something that you didn't mention, and I don't know if you wanted to talk about it or not, Ryan, but your podcast. And
Okay.
you had mentioned Barstool. I'm a fan of Dave Portnoy. You had him on the show. Who doesn't love pizza? At the end of the day, that's how I fell in love with Dave Portnoy. So shout out to Dave if you're watching. Any relation to big money energy, the title for the book as opposed to the podcast? I'd love our audience to know a little bit more because it's just quality content.
Thank you. I wrote the book and then we brought it to iHeart and said, I want to interview other people who have big money energy and who really went from nothing to something on a podcast. And they said, great. And we did a deal. And that's it. So we just finished up our second season of interviewing lots of really, really cool people. Dave Portnoy is one of them. I mean, the founders of Rent the Runway, Rebecca Minkoff, Barbara Corcoran, like the guy that invented Signature Bank. Like there's a whole host. I'm forgetting all of them right now.
It's insane. Yeah, Damon John on there too. I mean, it's just list goes on.
Yeah. So like I was just like I want to be inspired, right? And so it's nice to hear from people who get to say, oh yeah, no, I had no idea how I got here. This is like a total accident. I had $7. Walk me through the steps of how you then got there. And then maybe one person who's listening is going to relate to exactly what their journey is like. And it could change that person's life forever. Wow. And if anything, you're then taking away some information that you can adapt to your life. Like whether it's podcasts or books, or you have a mentor or a coach, like you gotta take everything with a grain of salt and listen to it all and take the best and leave the rest. Like take what works for you and leave the rest, but always keep investing into yourself. And so the podcast is on iHeart. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts. But it's been a lot of fun, like interviewing super cool people. It's been really awesome.
I love it. And the dialogue is great. And you just keep it light, but you dive deep. And I absolutely love that. And I know the audience feels that same energy and wants to learn from the best and brightest minds, as you are a repeat Titan, Ryan. So I can't encourage everybody enough to subscribe. Really look, we'll have links in the show notes down below. Phenomenal show. So I definitely wanted to mention that. But Ryan, this is always the favorite part, real quick, when it comes down to it, is the advice portion, right? You've been on the show once before. You've been through so much in your real estate career. These real estate professionals that are tuning in, the Titan Nation, they want to learn from the Titans, the best and brightest minds. So since we last spoke, and obviously we're into 2022, what piece of advice or pieces of advice would you give anybody watching live with us now, or they're tuning in after the fact, evergreen on the show? What would you say to grow, to scale? What would you give for anybody out there tuning in?
If you're already an agent right now, okay, I would say you should be a member of our course. It's Serhant.com.
Love it.
I say that as part like a sell, but I also believe it. Like you should definitely do it. It's amazing, and come learn with me at sellitLikeSerhant.com. But I also think you should really think about your business and stop thinking locally and start thinking globally local. Okay. Like if you're in a low inventory market, how can you expand? How can you still grow? People have figured it out generation after generation after generation. You're not the first person who's ever been stuck in a tough market. You're not the first person who's ever sat there and said, there's nothing to sell. Like this is not a new thing. It happens every 10 years. People much, much, much older than you have been through it, or you have been through it before. And I know we say every market's different. It's always different. It's always the same. It is always the same. History repeats itself over and over and over. We never learn anything. So we had a pandemic that shut everyone up. We also had a great recession, right? We also had terrorist attacks. Like we've had the savings and loan crisis in the early 90s. We've had, there's been a lot. If you just look at history, it's always different, but it's always the same. What markets could you potentially be in and how? What agents could you be working with right now to create referral relationships? How can you expand yourself? Do you have a personal brand? If you don't have a personal brand, you just don't know it, and you don't talk about it. You don't use it to generate leads. Right. We have one of our courses, and so Serhant is literally 6 hours of how to build your personal brand so that you can sell more real estate, like step by step, exactly what I did, using the people that helped me do it. That cost me like $1 million, and it's unreal. Way less. It's not that. It's like, I don't even know, hundreds of dollars or something. And it is awesome. So I would say two biggest pieces of advice is for anyone listening. 2022, if you have not invested in yourself, then what are you doing? Invest in education, invest in your brand. If you're not spending money on yourself, then scared money don't make money, and you're not allowed to complain. Two, build the strongest real estate agent network you can. If you're having a tough time with buyers and sellers, I want you to wake up tomorrow morning. I want you to look at the hot sheets, see what deals just closed, email every single agent who had that listing that closed. Maybe were there 5 deals that closed in your market, 100 deals, 3,000 deals, whatever it was. Email them individually, one by one. Say, hey, congrats. I saw you closed X address. You got a great price. Just wanted to say, awesome deal. That's it. Don't ask for anything. Don't say, see you around. Just say, congratulations, great deal, or whatever your wording might be for that. I swear to you, if you do that every day, you are going to double your income.
Wow. Because
you are paying it forward to people that actually are going to bring you business, because those agents are going to call you and say, hey, you sent me such a nice email. I have this house coming through. Do you sell houses too? Do you have any buyers? I haven't brought it to anybody yet. And you're going to say, oh my God, I do have that buyer. The buyer's going to kill me if I don't tell him about it. Hold on one second. And now all of a sudden that's a deal that you never would have done, but you just did it because you were nice that one time when you were the only agent in your entire market who actually said congratulations to other agents in a business that is so overly egotistically competitive where no one does that. Wow. Like those are my two biggest pieces of advice.
Well, Ryan, as you mentioned it, the fundamentals of that are growing upon everything, education and networking. And I love the fact, and you and I spoke in the green room, about this. Sell it like Serhant. And again, I want to bring up the book here, and I see that you got a few up top on your shelf. Is that kind of where the title of the name came from for the course or your education platform? Is that kind of how that worked
Yeah. So
out?
I wrote, so starting in so I got into business at the end of 2008. So I guess, so starting in 2010, I started just writing down, deal stories. Not to write a book. Like that was the furthest thing from my mind. Never thought I would do that. It was more to remember, because I would call my parents on Sundays, right? Which reminds me, I need to call my parents. And I would tell my parents at Christmas and Thanksgiving, what are you working on? And I wouldn't shut up for half an hour. And it was, well, then this guy, and then he did this, and then this. And they were like, you should write this down, because when you're 60 years old, you're not going to remember all these, and it's gonna be fun for you to look back. It's like, okay, that's a cool exercise to do. And maybe I'll learn something from it too. And so then as I started writing down these deal stories about what this guy did and how I got that deal closed, it's like, wait, interesting. The takeaway from this is X. The takeaway from this story is Y. And so I kind of built this sort of little team guide book, Bible, if you will. I called it my agent Bible. And I would update it all the time with the words that I would use to win deals and negotiations, the tactics I would use, my email templates. I would just print them out and be like, this email template works every time a seller's frustrated. Just use this, because I wanted my team to be successful. And I would then write out the deal stories. If you read the books, like The International Man of Mystery, how that guy ruined my life, Mr. X almost died with that guy, all these things. And that eventually I packaged it together and turned it into a book proposal, because then I had hundreds of pages of this stuff, and sold it to Hachette for a lot. And it was called Sell It Like Serhant. Bravo then finds out. I pitch it as a show. They greenlight Sell It Like Serhant as a show, which was then a teach people how to sell show. Right, where I go into, and it's still there, you can go watch it. I go into help terrible salespeople save their jobs. Probably the toughest thing I've ever done. What a wild moment in my life. And then that we turned into a speaking tour, and then we turned it into the online course.
Unreal.
So that's Sell It Like Serhant. Big money energy so far. I talk about it a lot. Didn't make it into a course because our current course is just too big and too great, and I'm not Harvard. And the book and the podcast are enough, but we're working on a third one right now. That's pretty cool.
Love it. And Ryan, I can't wait. And I know everybody out there cannot wait to just dive into more information and learn from you as specific, but everything that you do on a daily basis to really craft that. And what's wonderful about you, and everybody can attest to this, is you're a true practitioner. It's not theoretical, right? You're out there doing it every day, and you're documenting it in the highest of ways for people to essentially consume that. And you did it for you did it for your team, but you're touching so many lives all across the world. And again, that's just incredible to me. And every time we get to chat, it just blows my mind of how much you accomplished in such short periods of time. And I just love it. I mean, there's been so many changes in your life with family and business and just effect and impact into the world. And it's great, man. It's inspiring for sure.
Well, thanks. Hopefully this podcast live session will be helpful to anyone who's listening.
No doubt, 100%. And Ryan, so with Sell It Like Serhant, the course, what's the best way? Is there a direct URL just for the show notes that you could say out?
SellitLikeSerhant.com.
Okay.
Or RyanSerhant.com, and you'll see a big button.
Okay. Easy enough. Makes it great that way, Ryan. And to wrap everything up and just to finalize everything, I do want to talk about Tom Brady. And I had mentioned this, and I know that we're going to wrap this up real quick, but I saw your helmet. I know you're a fan. So am I. What are your thoughts? I mean, he's retiring. How do you feel about it?
I mean, listen, it's like, if he didn't retire this year, he would retire next year. Like, he's not going to do this till he's 50. I know he probably wished he won another one, but like 7 Super Bowls is a lot. I think it's sad, right? Because it's like sad for him. I mean, it's exciting for him too. Like, he gets his whole life, he's played football.
Right.
Now he has a whole new life ahead of him. That's going to be literally another 50 years. Like, it's crazy when you think about it, right? Like, and so, it's, I don't know, but it's sad. Like, I have very few memories of watching football before Tom Brady. Like, it's been 22 years. I mean, I did obviously as a little kid, but like, not like a lot. It's like, I wasn't a huge football fan when I was 7.
Right.
And like, your parents watch it or your dad watches it and stuff. But it was, I lived outside Boston, and like, if and in Boston, like, you're a Boston sports fan,
right?
You're a Patriots fan, you're a Red Sox fan, you're a Bruins fan, and you're a Celtics fan. If you're none of those, you're not allowed to live in the state. Those are the rules. And so, you're a fan of all the sports, and you grow up with them, and like, you become emotionally attached to these characters that just like, that are just really, really important to you. So it's I don't know. I'm excited for what he's going to do next. He's obviously built himself a massive empire. He's totally crushed it. He's got just a really, really cool story about like, and I try to emulate that, right? Like, I was given a platform with $1 Million Listing New York, and I am going to freaking milk it. From courses to books to my own company to this thing to that investment, as much as I can, because life is short. And he's done the same thing, obviously, at a major level. And it's, I don't know, it's just been cool. He is the GOAT. And now I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, who do I root for now? Like, I don't know. Like, what am I going to do next year? Like, I have to like be a Jets fan now.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because my wife and I, we've been Patriots fans. She's born and raised in Connecticut. So it was one of those things where she's just always latched on to the Patriots. But for me, I've always just enjoyed Tom Brady. To me, it wasn't the team. It was just his excellence.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's cool to watch. People want to watch winners. Like, winners beget winners,
That's it. But then you look at it and you say, hey, now what? I mean, when he left the Patriots and, went to the Bucks, I still got excited about him regardless. And now
of course, all of a sudden I was like, dude, go Bucks,
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And then when he won the Super Bowl, you were like, are you kidding me? Like, this isn't supposed to happen. It doesn't work this way. He's supposed to Brett Favre it and bounce around, Wayne Gretzky it, go to the Kings and like figure it out. Michael Jordan it, go to play baseball. Like, why is he not screwing up like everyone else?
Oh gosh, Ryan, I had to mention it, and I know you're a fan, so am I. And you had mentioned GOAT, and I can bear that title on you. I can say it. You are the GOAT, my friend, and you will continue to be the GOAT into real estate. And you got to look at it that way. That's just one man's opinion. Take it for whatever it's worth, everybody. I'm a fan of Ryan just the same way. And I think greatness can emulate greatness. And there's different opportunities, but it's discipline and consistency and really looking at it from the highest of levels. And Ryan, you are the only double Titan. So as far as I'm concerned,
you are so eloquent.
That's about as good as it gets, my friend. But yeah, I can't thank you enough, Ryan. You've been so gracious with your time. I really appreciate you, my friend.
All right, you're the man. I'll see you later.
Hey, everybody, thank you as always for your time and attention, love, and support. If you like what we're doing with Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. I have to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lionbolt Media. If you are in real estate and you're looking to grow and scale your digital side of business, visit lionboltmedia.com. They got a free mini course. We are live here every Tuesday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. See you, Ryan.
See you, man.